Been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to get out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name. Hello, welcome to Kevin's Covers. Today we are going to do America's Horse with No Name. This song could be really easy. You could just play B minor 7 and then, actually this is a B minor 11, but it's easy to do. I'll show it to you. So you could do it like the ultra easy version of it without a problem. It'll sound okay. Or you could make it a little bit more interesting and particularly try to cover a bit of the instrumental that was done by America, which makes it a bit more challenging. So I'm going to call this either easy or intermediate, depending on how you want to deal with it. So I don't want to scare you away if you're looking for something easy, but if you can do the other version, I think it sounds better. So we're going to call it easy and intermediate at the same time. Let's take a look at my version of it, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how it's done. On the first part of the journey, I was looking in all the life. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rings. The first thing I met was the flowers abuzz and the sky with no clouds. This heat was hot and the ground was dry, but the air was full of sound. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. After 2 days in the desert sun, my skin began to turn red. After 3 days in the desert fun, I was looking at a riverbed. The story it told of a river that flowed made me sad to think it was dead. You see, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. I let the horse run free, 'cause the desert had turned to sea. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rings. The ocean is a desert with its life underground and a perfect skies above. Under the cities lies a heart made of ground, but the humans will give no love. You see, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. La 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 la. So the first thing to notice about this version of the song is we're doing it with a drop D, so the E string is tuned down to D.
And there are only two chords. The two chords are, in this version, this is an E minor 11, because I'm letting the A over here as well, although not always. And then this B minor 11, which all that is we just point out the E minor 11, so we're fingering the 2nd fret on the 6th string, which gives us an E again because it's down to D. The open A, the E over here, and then everything else is open. And the B minor 11 is just exactly the same thing, one string down. But we're not going to hit this D over here, okay? We're going to muffle that. Cool chord. And the entire song can be played just by alternating between those two chords. You have to have a specific strumming pattern, right? You could actually just play the entire song like that. And if you want to keep it easy, there you go. That's Horse with No Name. Now let's take a look at the intermediate version. We're doing that. But we're going to add a few things. First of all, we're going to add that wonderful bass riff, right? Because the bass at a certain point goes... And that's just a great riff. But we're not going to slide it up. We're just going to do it down here. When does that happen? First of all, it happens in the first verse. I actually think I forgot to do it in the performance, sorry, but on the first verse. So, and then it happens once every chorus. Go back and take a look at the performance if you want to see where it happens, but it pretty much is just... So we're adding that little bass riff, which is the first thing that's making it a little bit more difficult. And then the second thing is that over the chorus, I'm actually adding a little bit more of the bass line. So instead of just going back and forth between the E minor 11 and the B minor 11, at a certain point I'm going like this. To hit this, this is actually now a F sharp, right? Because again, we're in drop D. Because the bass is actually doing that. It's coming off of the E, F sharp, right? And then the B. And then actually down to the D over the B minor 11, which means that it's not a B minor 11 anymore because the D added, well, it's a B minor 11 with a D in the bass. So anyway, when we look at the chorus in that case, what do we have? We have, been through the desert on a horse with no name, felt good to get out of the rain. Desert, can't remember your name. Right? And note that I'm actually hitting the D in the bass because that's what the bass was doing. So that's the second thing that makes it a little bit more complicated as opposed to just alternating between the E minor 11 and the B minor 11. And then we have the instrumental. Now, there's an instrumental in America's version, but America had 3 guitars, including a 12 string. So we're trying to replace 24 total strings worth of guitar with just 6, and we can't do everything that they were doing. But what I'm trying to do is something that's reminiscent of it. And in order to do that, we're coming out of the, well, actually the chorus after the la la la's, right? And what happens is, in order to go into the instrumental, there's a little bass run, right? So we're coming off of this. And then the actual instrumental. What is the instrumental? Let's take a close look. I'm going like this. Off of the E minor 11, trying to accentuate that E. Coming up to the G, and then we have this this thing where I'm coming back and hitting that F sharp in the bass, and off of a D here. So, well, it is actually a D. It's a strange chord. Anyway, this is what we're trying to hit. We're hitting the A up here, and this A over here, the F sharp in the bass, okay? And then I'm coming down and just hitting this G over here, and then back down to that F sharp in the first fret, right? And doing it again. then just lifting the entire thing and just leaving that A. And then I'm going to come up and hit this. But how am I going to do that? I'm actually going to slide up. I'm going to fret the 7th fret in with both the 5th and the 1st strings, right? Which gives us... I'm going to slide that whole thing down to the 5th fret and then the 3rd fret, right? And then come back to this awful thing over here to come back. And that's the entire solo, well, the entire instrumental. I actually think it works out pretty well. Go back and take a look at it in the performance to see how it all slots together. There you go. So that's the more difficult version of Horse with No Name, which actually works pretty well. I hope that that is useful for you. I hope you like it. Please do subscribe. Please do hit notifications. Please do like the video, comment on it, share it, whatever. And please do come back. In the meantime, rock on.